microscopes, we have models, we have these skeletons that have been preserved, so it can live long.
Also, there's 3D models of like parts, organs. We've got this one here. We can take them apart, look at them. Yeah.
Look at this volcano.
What do you like about it?
This is not active, but it's okay. This is a volcano. This looks good. And what is this? This is the question for you guys. Find out what this animal is.
It's a koala.
A koala. It says it. It says it. Right. And it says it. Next question is, where is this country?
This is all. I know this.
Which country does this
I
country
know
from?
this. I know this. Do not stop. I think it's. Can I give you two?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, blue.
I think it's Australia.
Yeah, of course.
I'd like to say a very good evening to everybody. My name is Martin Tissot and I'm the Executive Head Teacher of Salvatorian College. Can I thank you very much for giving up your time to join us in this virtual give you an opportunity to find out more about Salvatorian College. We want to answer all your questions. We want you to feel satisfied that you understand what we're all about, what our values are, and what the experience might be if your son were to come here. I'm going to hand over to a succession of people who will be talking to you, but I'd like to begin with Mr. Bryant, who's our head of school. Mr. Bryant.
Good evening, everybody. It's lovely to see you all, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. It's a great pleasure to welcome you here. Hopefully, as that video was playing there, you got a little flavour of the face-to-face open evening that we held recently. I'm not sure if you could hear sound on your video. I couldn't on mine, but it might be a technical glitch there, so I do apologise about that. But you got a flavour of what the school was about and the kinds of things that we offer in the school. The boys have joined us this evening as well. We've got 3 boys who I think are maybe on screen for you, but we've got 3 Year 7 boys who are going to, there you go, they're waving to you now. They're going to take some questions later on as well. I'm hoping to be able to play you a video now that just sort of shows a few of our facilities. There will be another couple of videos that we're going to play later on. Just to say that I'm very, very proud to be head of school here. And I think that the offer that we have for boys in Year 7 and going through to Year 11 is some of the best you're going to get in London. We're halfway through a new build, which will be fully open at the end of this academic year. And the facilities really are going to be first class. To come will be a forecourt sports hall. We're going to have an activity studio, 3 more computer labs, and some more general classrooms to add to what we've already got. So, Mr. Fowler, do you have a video for us? We have a wonderful head of Year 7, Miss Shamash, who is sitting there with a few of our boys. I'd love to hand over to her to have a few words about Year 7. I'm sure that those boys will have a few words to say as well.
Welcome. So I'm Miss Shamash. I'm the head of Year 7, as Mr. Bryant just said. I'm not going to talk too much because there is a video coming up and you'll find out a lot more about Salvatorian College, about my role as head of Year 7. But just a small bit of background, my role is to care and support the pastoral needs of you boys when you join the school in Year 7. and it's to make sure that I'm monitoring and supporting your academic process, your academic progress, should I say. So usually it's this time of year where I'm going into primary schools and I'm meeting a lot of you. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to go into many primary schools at the moment due to some restrictions, but hopefully at a later point we'll be doing some Zoom. So you'll be seeing lots of me now, you'll be seeing lots of me next year. But like I've said, there's a video. So I also just wanted to introduce the boys behind me who have very kindly joined us tonight as well, because I think they wanted to share their experience of Salvatorian College too, just so that you can gain a bit more of an insight what it's like. I mean, these boys, they've been at the school for around 5-6 weeks now, so they know what it's like. They've been in your position, they understand the process. So I'll get them to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Shayan and I'm in Year 6. One thing I like about Salvatorian College is that we are one big family from different parts of the world.
Hello, my name is Edward and I am from Salvatorian College. I am in Year 7, and one thing I like about this school is definitely the lunches. They are 5-star in quality.
My name is Cowboy. I am in Year 7, and what I love about the school is that the teachers are always there for you. If you need any help, you can always go and ask the safeguarding team and Mr. Nash, our head of the year.
Thank you, boys. So that's just some information from our boys. But like I've said, we do have a video where you can see a bit more about the school. And like Mr. Bryant had said, after that, we will be having some questions. So I'd like you to watch the video, and throughout that, think of any questions you have got, because tonight is the night where you can ask and we're all here to help you. So enjoy.
The atmosphere at the school is great. Teachers are friendly, approachable. The boys know that if at any moment, break times, lunch times, if they just want a listening ear, someone to talk to, that they can go to their teacher and they will be heard and they will be supported.
Before I came here, I was extremely nervous because I didn't know where to go. It's a big school, it's a big leap from primary to secondary, it's a big transition.
I really wasn't worried, but I was a little bit nervous.
At first I was a bit nervous, then Salvatorian made me think that everyone's in the same boat as me and they're all very comforting.
So when the boys come into the school, they are put into a form and they work with their form teacher and they do lots of icebreaker activities. They get to know their peers and they're also given a buddy who they'll go around with each day, and they'll play with at break times and lunch times, and it's just to help us to ensure that the boys are never alone and they've always got that one friend.
So Miss Shamash, she gives us the confidence to be like, yes, you can get all the E praises, you can't get the X, I believe in you and stuff like that. And she really encourages us a lot.
Miss Shamash has helped me in a lot of ways. She's excellent, fantastic. When I was new here, I really didn't know the places and I had to do the test because I didn't come on the days. So she was the one that helped me get to know around the school a little bit.
When I got here, I first walked up to the school and I was like, this is a very, very big school. I don't know if I'll get lost, if I'll go to places that I'm not meant to be. But then I realised it's not that big on the inside and you just have to stick to the rules. I think it's a very good school and I am excited to be here.
I was nervous, but now I made friends and I'm not nervous and I'm actually quite happy to be here. And I think that's really good, and I made friends.
We support the boys to help them to progress academically. We push the more able, we work hard with them, providing them with extra lessons, trips. We also support those who may be struggling. We have extra interventions such as homework club and lunchtime classes to ensure that they can thrive and reach their academic potential.
The good things about the college would be the togetherness and the community of it, and especially the student-teacher relationship and how that helps them to get better grades.
The teachers are very supportive. They'll help you if ever you have a problem. You don't need to hesitate. The sense of community in the school really inspires everyone to thrive and motivate each other.
I'm Jack Ruddy and I left Salvatorian College 2 years ago. I think this school is almost based upon its community, in the fact that people feel they belong here. Teachers here genuinely care for you and they want you to succeed. So talking to teachers, they kind of develop some sort of relationship with you between the student and the teacher, and they give you more work and they help you grow, and they recognise what things you need when you can't yourself. I actually started school quite nervous and a very shy kid, and I think over the years I kind of grew in confidence, not only academically but emotionally, spiritually,
So when the boys join the school, I see them as young children, and what I absolutely love about being head of year is I get to watch them day in, day out grow into mature young adults.
I feel this school is almost like a second home, I always feel welcomed here, whether that's before I was a student, while I was a student, and even now. I can come back and there's a real sense of a family here.
I think that Mr. Fowler sent a message to everyone there, sort of offering to ask any questions. So if you do have any questions, perhaps you could type them into the chat function, and then we can answer any questions you may have.
Yep, we got some coming in, sir. So we have one about nut allergies and fish allergies. How do you look after students with allergies at the school?
Do you want to take that one, Mr. Bright, or would you like me to do that one?
That's fine, Mr. Tisa, that's fine.
Well, obviously, we're very sensitive to the medical needs of our students. We would ask you to signal to us early on if there are any concerns that you have, whether it's allergies to nuts, allergy to fish, or whatever. One of the things that we won't really do, though, in our setting is guarantee, for example, in our canteen that we can provide a nut-free zone or food without any fish. So if it's a very severe allergy, then I always advise parents, I say, will you please take responsibility for your son's lunchbox, the food that you are providing for him, and obviously your son has to be very careful about accepting anything, and I would say, err on the side of caution, don't accept any food that is offered by anybody else, because of course you want to be safe. We make sure that our staff are trained. If your son has an EpiPen or anything like that, then we will of course look to put in place protocols so that he is safe whilst on our premises and on any trips that we organise. We would of course want your son to participate fully in everything that we offer. And I hope that's satisfied your questions. You'd be invited in to have a meeting with our school medical officer so that we could look jointly at a health plan so that we can plan for your son's needs.
We've got a question about the range of GCSE options on offer.
Yes, well, we have a full range of GCSE options. We cover the core. So, of course, English, language, literature, maths, science and RE, but then the humanities, so geography, history, French, Spanish.
We also have a full. Generally, we're always looking to extend the range of options. So, for example, we have computer studies that is operating now. We have sociology. We have business studies.
Psychology.
We have psychology. So, even though we are a small school, we do actually have an extensive range of subject options that we give students the opportunity to take. We're moving towards delaying option choices until year 10 going forward in the future, so that we can continue to offer a very broad curriculum. We also offer both Spanish and French as languages, and we're very committed to encouraging our boys, whichever language that they choose, to continue with that language right the way through to GCSE. And in the past years, we've had a very, very high uptake of students that actually take their language through to GCSE, and excellent results at both Spanish and French.
I think the other point to make, Mr. Tiso, is that we're trying very hard to maintain a broad and balanced curriculum, but also to widen that going forward, to offer as much as we can going forward to develop our curriculum as well.
Thank you. We've got a question about the class sizes. How big are class sizes at Salvatorian College?
Well, that does depend on how many. Sorry, sir. It does depend on how many you have in each year group, but we would try and maintain a healthy class size. So 20 to 25 is an average size for our groups. And we wouldn't want to have more than 28 really in a group, 29. So not very large.
We are absolutely committed as well to our option choices. So sometimes we have run groups. We had a music option that was taken up last year, and we ran a special group. There were just 3 students that wanted to pursue that music option, but we put that on because we knew it was very important to them, and they were able to take that all the way through to GCSE. So it does vary, and we also have operated a class in year 7 which has been quite small because we've had some students with particular needs, and we felt that we were best able to serve those needs in really quite a small class. But generally our classes are generously staffed. We don't overfill them, and there is a small enough classes for the teacher to be able to give individual attention to each student.
Also, if students are taking have a language they want to speak, want to take for a GCSE grade, we'll always encourage them to do that. So as well as the core of French and Spanish, we would offer examinations in other subjects, other languages.
In home languages, that's right.
Thank you. Please, could you tell us about high recent achievement in GCSEs and any particular high achievers?
Absolutely.
Mr. Bryant, sir.
Yes, of course, this year has been very interesting with the data because we had centre assessed grades here. We have maintained very, very high standards here at Salvatorian College over the last 3 years. We have been recognised by Sadiq Khan for our very high progress, particularly for low attaining pupils who've made outstanding progress in the Progress 8 category. So over 1.6 for those boys, fantastic for them. Last year we were 0.49 for Progress 8, which is in the outstanding category, 0.5 outstanding. The year before 0.61. And of course there hasn't been a Progress 8 measure this year because of the centre assessed grades, but it's in line with the last 2 years. So we would say around 0.5, 0.55. So we're very, very proud of that. And as well as Attainment 8 being some of the highest really in Harrow. So we're very up there with the other school, you know, higher than the Harrow average, higher than the national average. A lot of grade 9s. So Jack Ruddy there that you saw, he got grade 9s across the board. 2 of our boys this year got all grade 9s and distinction stars. So the boys really do very well in their GCSEs here.
So the majority of our boys tend to progress to our sister institution, which is the sixth form college, and the majority of them, of course, go on with their very good GCSE grades to study A levels.
A question about extracurricular clubs. So extracurricular clubs and a particular focus on sports. And a question for you, Mr. Cooper, maybe. Can you trial for the Year 7 football team immediately?
We run a wide range of sporting activities, as well as obviously other clubs as well, that the boys can get involved in. So there's a youth club for the younger pupils that our boys can get involved in. There's other sort of activities and trips to a history trip abroad, geography trip abroad. We run a ski trip. Of course, all of those have sort of been postponed for a little while because of the restrictions placed upon us. But we are still running in-year group bubbles, some sporting activities after school and at lunchtime. And it's not a case of you can try out for a team and you either get in a team or are not allowed into the team. Everyone is welcome at these sessions. So if you enjoy football or basketball, you can come along to those sessions and obviously enjoy participating and working really hard to improve your skill level.
I'm very proud of our sports here, and I've been the Year 11 basketball coach, and we won the Middlesex Cup very recently without a sports hall at the time. So our boys are very good at sport. We're going to have a lovely sports hall ready for us very shortly. So we're going to go on to great things. I know that Mr. Creamer runs a football club every night after school now. And obviously, as Mr. Cooper said, we do have some restrictions. We've just started martial arts. So we've got some Kung Fu happening every Monday and Tuesday, which the boys are really enjoying. They let a bit of their energy out on that. We've bought some really nice tech tables for the boys to play football skills on. But there are some really lovely clubs. We've got a handwriting club, for example, and a little Circle of Friends club. There's all kinds of things going on, not just sporting. Obviously, at the moment, it's a little bit restricted with our bubbles, but the extracurricular here is we're really very proud of. I think the youth club in particular, which runs from 4 till 6 every Wednesday, is so enjoyed by our boys, and it's chances to relax and have a tuck shop and play some pool and video games with their friends. It's very enjoyable indeed.
If I might as well just mention how impressed I am with the table tennis club and the table tennis coach that has come along to the youth club to give some table tennis coaching, and that is very popular with the boys. And we have a number of outdoor tables, so that when you go outside into the playground, you see the boys enjoying table tennis, and that has really come on, and I think enthused a number of boys who hadn't considered table tennis before.
I've got a question here about music options and facilities.
Yeah, I mean the music facilities have all been built. This room that I'm sitting in now is my office at the moment, but it's actually a music practice room. So when the school's handed over fully, we've got some good practice rooms here in the school. We have peripatetic lessons, so I'm surrounded by drums and trumpet players all the time, which is wonderful. Playing the trumpet myself, it's quite interesting to hear it right next to my office. But there's some very talented musicians. We've got some good violin players. We've hosted London Sinfonia Orchestra last year, so we're very committed to music. And we had some boys take GCSE music last year as well. So we are very committed. We see it as an important subject, and certainly we're looking to develop music in the future. Our boys sing in the choir at the carol services. I'm very hopeful that will be able to happen this year, although it's looking unlikely. We've got some very good choristers, so we're very committed to music. It's on a carousel at the moment for Year 7, so they all get the chance to do music in Year 7.
And of course, there is the opportunity for pupils to learn an instrument and sign up for a range. The range does just change yearly, and we keep the fees extremely low and competitive. But boys can learn a variety of instruments. You've heard already about trumpet, but I know there is piano and violin and drums, and there is a very good take-up of that option by our new Year 7s.
Question maybe for Miss Shamash and her Year 7 boys. What was it like moving from Year 6 into Year 7?
Can't hear you.
When I first had the thought of moving to a new school, I was a bit nervous, but I overcame that when I made my new friends here at the school. And turns out it wasn't actually that hard of a transition.
Another question for one of the boys there. How much homework per day do you normally get?
We usually get about 3 homeworks a day. Sometimes we'll be due for end of the week, sometimes the next day. It depends on what homework you'll get.
Thank you. And another one here for you, probably boys. How is bullying in the school? How's it dealt with?
Very quickly. There's not much that I'm aware of. It's very comforting being here, and yeah.
Thanks, boys. Maybe one for Mr. Tiso. The question here, the school has obviously been on an upward trajectory in recent years. How can we be assured that this progress will be maintained during our son's time at Salvatorian College?
Well, I think the management team, the Salvatorian governors are absolutely committed to making sure that the school, now if I can say that the school has recovered and is now achieving some excellent results, we're all absolutely committed to maintaining those very high standards. And we believe that the school is outstanding, and we want to make sure that the results are outstanding and that the education that we provide for the boys is absolutely outstanding. And I don't think that anything is going to detract us from the path that we are on. So what other, I'm not sure what other reassurance that I can provide other than to tell parents and pupils that of our commitment and our determination to see Salvatorian College as the school of first choice in the local area.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper, someone has asked what percentage of Year 11 pupils go on to higher education or training?
So we've got a very close relationship with St Dominic's, and our percentage of NEET pupils, those not in employment, education or training, is very low. A large percentage of our pupils go on to study St Dominic's and do very well at A levels. It does vary from year to year, but the numbers have been increasing along with the GCSE grades increasing, and I think it was about 80% last year of our pupils went on to St Dominic's, and from that about 90% went on to study at university after St Dominic's.
Thank you very much. 2 questions maybe linked for Mr. Bryant. The first is, how many local trips did Year 7 take last year? What types, and what's planned this year? And maybe linked to that, what contingency plans do you have in case there's a lockdown again, and do you have remote lessons?
I'm going to answer the second part, and I'm going to hand the other part back over to Mr. Cooper, who runs all of our trips. But if, in terms of COVID, we've got a remote learning plan. So at the moment, what we're doing, we've got a very small number of boys who are self-isolating, only 3 or 4 from the whole school cohort. So our attendance is actually very good. It's up in around 95%. The boys that are at home, they get the lesson plans uploaded. We use something called Show My Homework. So the boys there mentioned that they get a lot of homework, and we do like to set homework, a lot of homework. We think it's important that the boys work hard to consolidate the learning from the day at home. So every time I set homework, for example, for year 11, I will upload my lesson plan for that day. At the moment, as it's only a small amount, those boys are accessing the remote learning that way. We're also using these cameras that we have here to film us to stream live lessons. So I've been streaming some of my lessons across. We're looking to try and put that out so that we've got all the rooms now have been equipped with these cameras to be able to stream live lessons. So we're looking to trial that and put that out after October. But what we have been quite successful, if there were to be further lockdowns, or let's say a year group had to go home, we've used Microsoft Teams very, very efficiently. In fact, I think we were quite groundbreaking with our remote learning during the main lockdown. We offered the whole school had at least a 50% timetable of taught lessons, and so we'd be aiming to do something similar again should that unfortunately need to happen. We are determined to run school as normal as possible within some very challenging circumstances, but I think that the boys, as they've said there, the three lads that are there, and the general feeling is that the boys feel safe and happy to be in school, and I'm very happy to be able to offer the same level. In fact, we've increased our curriculum this year. Some schools have had to cut back. We've actually increased our curriculum, so I'm very pleased that we've been able to do that, and I'm committed to that going forward. So there's quite a lot of plans in the pipeline. I think it's good to be prepared because we just don't know how long this is going to go on for.
Mr. Cooper, would you like to take on the question about trips?
Just clarify the question.
Yep, so it's how many local trips did Year 7 take last year? What sort of trips?
Oh, the exact number. I wouldn't be able to put a number on it. There are a range of opportunities where we bring different groups in and different speakers in to talk to our pupils and run workshops. And whether it be a science teacher coming in or a science practitioner bringing moon rocks in and developing different activities, or it's a trip to a rewards trip or a religious retreat to the local area, or a maths trip to the museums in London or Bletchley Park, for example. These are all different activities that we have normally run. Because of the lockdown, obviously a lot of those trips didn't run last year, but there is a very wide range of activities, and we do encourage every department to run something extracurricular because we feel that brings the curriculum to life and we put it into perspective. And one of the things we're quite proud of is the range of careers opportunities that we bring in external business volunteers to talk to our boys at different years, and that happened during lockdown over Microsoft Teams, and it happened last week as part of our drop-down day of activities and events, because we know that the interactions with business volunteers actually stimulates and encourages boys to find a career and raises aspirations for them as well.
Thank you. Mr. Coker, question here, how is behaviour at the school?
Behaviour is outstanding, would be graded outstanding by Ofsted. Around the school is very calm, very orderly. All the students have clear routines and clear expectations, including lining up every morning, lining up after every break, after every lunch, and they go in silence into the classrooms. Every lesson starts with a prayer, and there's clear routines and clear expectations for all staff and students. In the classroom themselves, you can see that all the pupils are engaged. They're very motivated to learn. You can see that it's almost self-policing. The pupils, any low-level disruption, pupils expect the teachers to remove those students. As I said, clear expectations, clear learning going on, and it's just a very positive and respectful school. The culture here is on learning, and behaviour is just not tolerated by staff all students.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tissot, how are the bright boys kept challenged?
Well, our head of teaching and learning is very focused on making sure that our gifted and talented pupils are stretched, and they have that they're identified early, that those that we think are of considerable potential, and we try and make sure that they are seen and they're supported so that they're able to reach their potential. And in the past, that's involved a number of initiatives where they've had access to some speakers and some external as well as internal mentors in the school. And I think in that way, hand on my heart, that I can honestly say that the brightest students are as well catered for as some of those who find learning more challenging. And that's what we try to do. We try to stretch our brightest and best and give them all the opportunities that they need. We are a comprehensive school.
Over the lockdown, a lot of our Year 10 boys carried out the HPQ and wrote that themselves over the lockdown very successfully. So we do try to challenge our boys, and we do offer them trips as well to try and inspire them to do the best and get the best out of their abilities.
That's the higher project qualification, which
yes,
yeah, a piece of research. It's a research project that the boys have done under supervision, and some of the work that has been produced has been extraordinarily good, Mr. Bryant.
Yeah, one of our boys wrote what would be equivalent to a dissertation, really, for me. So I was enjoying marking that over lockdown, about 5,500 words. So very, very good.
Thank you very much. Do you offer Duke of Edinburgh?
Yes, we do. I used to be a Duke of Edinburgh leader myself, so I'm very committed to it. As I am committed to outstanding behaviour, it's something that I'm very, very passionate about, that the boys behave themselves. And I think that getting involved in things like Duke of Edinburgh really helps them to improve their self-esteem, builds character, builds resilience. So I've encouraged that to be taken up. I've got a member of staff responsible for that, Miss Ibrahim. She is leading our Duke of Edinburgh Award, and of course that is going ahead this year. We've had some advice about how it can work under the current restrictions, where we've been asked to plan the expedition as normal and pray that it will go ahead next summer. But the boys have signed up, and they're going to get their rucksacks ready and get ready to get wet in their tents.
Thank you very much. Do you offer triple science?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. And do you stream classes by ability?
When they come in Year 7, we do give them, we sit them down and they do CATS tests, cognitive ability tests. And then from there, we will work out where they're best placed in classes in Year 7. But that's a very flexible system, because we take regular assessment points throughout the year, so that we're able to see where they're making progress or perhaps not doing so well. So yes, is the answer to that.
Except if I may, I wouldn't really call it streaming, because as Mr. Bryant has just said, they're taught in their in the lower years in their form classes, but there are of course opportunities for movement, especially in the core subjects such as maths and English and science, where those subjects will try to block them so that there can be some pupil movement appropriately.
Someone's asked whether there is actually regular assessment done by repeating the CATS tests.
No, I think that we have in the past given the students an opportunity to take a CATS test again at Year 9, but the point is really for those CATS assessments to help us to put them in an appropriate set to start with, and of course we don't just use those CATS assessments. Usually, not this year, but usually we have some key stage 2 data as well that comes through from the primary schools that we of course also take into consideration.
Could you expand on assessment and how progress is reported to parents, and then how frequently parents and teachers interact over the course of a year?
Mr. Bryant, sir.
Yeah, so we'll take, we'll have formative assessment points every half term, so we'll make sure that we know where they are. We've actually done a baseline test just coming back from lockdown. We felt it was very important that if there were any gaps, I don't think there were many gaps, but if there were, that those were addressed quickly. And so we're assigning the catch-up funding to make sure that those boys that maybe have fallen behind a little bit have the ability to catch up. But yes, we do formative assessments and regularly, so that we can see where the best movement would be. What was the other part of the question, Mr. Farrer?
The other bit of the question was, how often do teachers and parents interact over a year? So how many parents' evenings and that sort of thing?
Well, Year 7 get quite a lot of opportunity to meet. Ms. Shamash, do you want to just talk about that?
Yes. So form tutors will make weekly phone calls home. So the form tutor is kind of the pastoral care within Year 7 and across all year groups, whereby the boys will go to their form tutor in the mornings, and if there's any pastoral issues, that is their contact as well as myself. So form tutors will be making weekly phone calls home along with myself. I mean, every day I'm meeting with parents, the good reasons, the bad reasons as well. Now, with regards to academics, if there are students who are potentially underperforming or not reaching their academic potential, then there will be intervention. So parents will be informed. There would be, I know that at the moment, we've got currently some parents have just been informed of their son joining a reading class at lunch. We also have intervention in all subjects. Now, at the end of each term, when they have their formative assessment, if there are students who, like I've said, are not progressing, they're not hitting their targets, I will have parents in and we will have meetings and strategies in place with how we can go forward and how we can enable the boys to progress.
Early on, I think there's an academic evening where the boys are, the parents are invited in to talk through the CATS results as well. So it's a bit of a social evening where they get to meet their form tutors. There are also regular parents' evenings, and there are target setting days as well. So we'd invite you to come in and have target setting to set some quite challenging targets for your sons, which are looked at throughout the year.
Another question maybe for one of Ms. Shamash's boys sitting there. What's it like being in a Catholic school if you're not a Catholic pupil?
Well, it's comforting because the Salvatorian College show that the Catholic religion is open to any other religions, and that even though you're not a Catholic and it's a Catholic school, it shows that you're still important.
I didn't hear you very well. Do you mind just saying that again? I can't hear you very well. I'm sorry.
It's although some people aren't Catholic at Salvatorian College, you still are made important and feel loved at the school, even if you're not the religion the school is.
Okay.
Thank you very much. One last question, maybe Mr. Bryant. How do you encourage leadership skills in students?
Well, that's a broad question. Well, our mission is to create leaders of good influence. So we're determined to do that in all that we do. We offer, in year 10 and 11, we try to get our boys to be peer tutors. So they'll look after younger pupils and offer them guidance to try and help them to with any issues they might have. We have prefects You would have seen the head boy and deputy in 2 deputies this year. You'd have seen them in the video earlier on. So the prefect system is quite vibrant, and we'd ask them to take on duties around the school, to be presence in the school. But lower down the school, so we will have someone in class to be a homework monitor, for example, who will put their hand up and say, sir, don't forget to set homework today. And sort of those sort of qualities we identify quite early on. I mean, Mr. Cooper, you might have you've been responsible for this area for a while now. Is anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think also the big one is the school council, where there are pupils that are elected from each form, each year group, and we meet, and the pupil voice is something that we obviously listen to and respect, and we try and obviously make the school a better place together, working with the school council.
I think you have form reps as well, don't you? That so you'll sort of each form will have someone that represents them, and they'll talk about what issues they want to bring forth to leadership to discuss those issues.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I think that concludes most of the questions we've been asked. So there were 1 or 2 questions as we were going along about admissions arrangements. So I might say a bit about that as the admissions officer here. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. If there were possibly some technical issues with the video at the beginning, this whole meeting has been recorded, and it will be recorded and uploaded at high quality to YouTube, to our YouTube channel. So I would encourage you to search for Salvatorian College on YouTube and subscribe to us. And you can watch this video back along with a range of other videos you've seen tonight and some you haven't, which will give you a better feel for Salvatorian College. If you haven't already done so, you will need to make an application via the e-admissions portal, and that can be found just by typing into Google. That you must complete an e-admissions application. That's the most important thing. And then also submit a supplemental information form, and those can be found on our website. And that will ensure that we've got your application for Year 7 next year. I'm on hand at any time to answer any questions. So if you do have queries or concerns about the admissions process, please just email. And the email address for me for admissions is admissions@salvatorian.harrow.sch.uk. And that's also on our website. Mr. Bryant, do you have any closing remarks?
I do. I'd just like to add that if you wanted to have a tour of the school, now advice has changed this evening in London. I think we're now tier 2. So we're going to see what that means for us. But I'd be more than happy to show you around the school on an informal tour. If that's not possible, and you prefer to do that remotely, then I'm sure that we can arrange for Miss Shamash or myself to have a video conference like this, and perhaps to take a camera around and show you around the school. But I would encourage you to try to come in and see the school during the day, just to see what it's like, so that you can get a real taste of what goes on. And just to say that we're very happy to welcome you anytime.
Yeah, and I would just add, if you do want to arrange a tour, whether that's physically or by Zoom with Ms. Shamash, maybe as head of Year 7, please again just email the admissions inbox, admissions@salvatorian.harrow.sch.uk, which again is on our website, and we'll do our very best to arrange a good tour for you of the school despite our current restrictions. Mr. Tissot?
I'd just like to thank everyone that's taken some time to see our live stream this evening, and I'd like to thank as well our staff and our pupils that have been here this evening, and thank you all of you, and perhaps we'll get the opportunity to welcome you to Salvatorian College soon.
I'm just going to ask Ms. Shamash to give us a wave, and from the boys. Thank you very much. And given that we had some technical difficulties at the beginning of this meeting, I'm going to end by just playing you a video which we took last Monday when we had our socially distanced open evening in school, which gives you a really good flavour for perhaps what we haven't all been able to take part in this year, which is a normal open evening. And I'll close there, and thank you very much, and have a very good evening.